Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Bianca Boudreau. I'm the Director of Education for Cayman North America. And today I'm going to bring you everything that you need to know about our Cramer Color System. So let's dive in. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you all. Okay. So, what's on the agenda for today is we're going to talk about who we are as a company, an overview of some of the other systems that we carry, everything you need to know about our Cramer Color System. And then at the end, we're going to go over our education pathway, some of the other classes that we have to offer, and then how to contact us if you need. I absolutely just love that video. I feel like it's just so inspiring. And I love playing it at the beginning of my classes because I really feel that it amps us up and it gets us really excited about learning everything that we need to know about Cayman. This was the Cayman Fashion Show in Madrid back in October of 2025. I'm sorry, 2024. And this was the debut show for Angelo Seminara, who is our new creative director, who is absolutely brilliant. I'm so excited to have him as our new creative director, and I can't wait to see what he brings to us in the future. This also showcased the Sierra hair team out of Madrid, Spain, and the three of them just rock. So I'm excited to show you all that. So let's dive in on who we are as a company. So back post World War II Italy, Partino and Amalia Nocentini found themselves not only having to rebuild their families, but also their careers. And this was way back in 1959, and they used this opportunity to fulfill their dream of creating a company that not only valued their employees, but it also valued the earth in utilizing sustainability, creating green and clean products. And I really feel that this was at the forefront of this industry. This was not something that was a trend going on way back when. They really were innovators and set the footprint for the future. And I'm just so happy to say that I stand behind a company with the aim of not only providing exceptional, professional, and high quality products, but a company who set forth to aim to protect the planet. Some of the values that they stand behind are true visionary beauty. So they're staying true to not only their transparent manufacturing, but also their formulations and foundational education. And again, they're true visionaries of this industry. We're creating new innovative technologies and using trend reports in our education. And why we incorporate the trend reports is that what's going on in trending in fashion is really important to our industry because it's going to trickle down, and that's what we need to stay on top of so that we can be ahead of what our clients are going to ask for behind the chair. And then beauty. We are helping to support the beauty industry by creating green and clean products that help support the consumer in our market. And then our sustainability. So we have what's called a Cayman Open Lab. This is where we grow our own botanicals that's used in not only our Velian complex, but also our Bond Creator complex. And this is an organic farm just steps away from our factory. So on our factory, we run off of 100% green energy, and we also use reverse osmosis to purify our water and cool down machinery, which results in zero water waste. And then some of the other ways that we're being sustainable is that we have all sustainable packaging. So we're always striving to create more eco-conscious packaging, whether it's from recycled materials or innovative plant-based plastics. Our efforts are always to protect our planet and lessen our carbon footprint.
In November 2022, we started to pack our Cramer hair color range in recycled aluminum tubes, and we aim to extend this trend to all our hair color lines by 2024. Visionary and increasingly sustainable. Our color formulas are enriched with Valium Complex, a patented blend of the extracts of 4 medicinal plants organically and locally grown in our open lab. 1 year of production will allow us to save energy equivalent to the yearly consumption of about 120 two-person households. Also, the use of recycled paper materials will enable us to preserve over 50 centennial oak trees. Our manufacturing plans has increased the efficiency of its filling lines within the frameworks of the Industry 4.0 concept. We have implemented environmental labeling for all our product lines to promote greater consumer knowledge and awareness of correct recycling practices. We strive every day for a sustainable future. Kemon, towards a green future.
I really love that video because I feel like it really showcases our efforts to be sustainable. And so they had said that we started to pack our tubes in recycled aluminum back in 2022. And the numbers that they told us, I think it was equivalent to 122 person households. So this is way back in 2022, way back. But these numbers are only going to climb. And that's what I think is just so beautiful. So, as we strive to create more ways of being sustainable, those numbers are only going to climb and our efforts are only going to get better. And I really just feel like that is just so important to showcase the way that we are walking the walk. So, some of our partnerships and certifications, we have been a corporate golden donor of the FAI, which is an Italian national trust, since 2014. But in 2015, we were one of the founding members of a organization. It is an archaeological arboretum, and this is an ancient orchard that is in Città de Castello, which is a few hours north of Rome. And their aim in this foundation is to not only protect the agricultural history, but also the architectural history. So since they have started, they've been able to dig up over 400 ancient and rare tree and fruit species, and then regrow them to help give back to the environment and help give back to the biodiversity here, and build our ecosystem. And I just think it's just such a beautiful thing. You can find them on social media as well, just to see the efforts that they're doing and some of the things that they have found. And then we also have what's called ISO certification. So ISO stands for International Organization for Standardization. And this is a company that's very prestigious, and these certifications are very hard to obtain. So we voluntarily put ourselves through these. They're very expensive, and again, they're really hard to get. And so we have the certifications in categories such as percentage of natural organic ingredients, health and safety, environmental management, good manufacturing practices, and quality management. And again, it's hard enough just to get one. We have five. And so I really feel like this is another way of us proving that we're putting ourselves through rigorous things to showcase the high quality and the high standards that we put ourselves through, or we hold ourselves to. So let's talk about some of our patents. So we have what's called the Velian complex. The Velian complex is a synergistic blend of 4 medicinal plants that provide antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, and antioxidant action to both the hair and the scalp. We also have our bond creator complex. And this is a plant-based complex designed to repair the disulfide bonds that get disrupted during a chemical service. And then we also have our innovative new patent pending Alkali complex. So this is the next generation of complexes. This is a unique blend of alkalizers and chelators that help detox the hair of any unwanted minerals while doing the coloring during the coloring process to help give you the best results. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the Valiant complex and why it's so important to our company. I love that video. I cannot wait to see the open lab in real life. It just looks so breathtaking. So let's talk about the Valiant complex. So we just saw that it is comprised of mullein, helichrysum, flax, and dyer's chamomile. And so we found that these individual plants offer beautiful benefits, each on their own. But in combination with each other, they are a powerhouse. They not only provide soothing and refreshing powers, but also antioxidant, anti inflammatory, and antibacterial for both the hair and the scalp. And also, the linseed oil in flax helps strengthen the hair from the inside out. So it really is just a beautiful blend, a powerhouse of a complex. And we found that the results of having this inside of our products is so intense and immense that we have decided to put it across all of our line. So we have it in all of our colors, our activators, everything in our scalp care and our hair care segment. And so we really hope that you guys see the benefits of this as well. So the beautiful thing about Cayman is that there is something for every type of salon, stylist, and client. And this is something that has been dear and near to me since the beginning. And you'll see why. We have a wide range of things that we offer, and I really do feel that we can speak to every one of these people. So let's take a look at what we have in our portfolio. So we have our Cramer Color System, which we're going to talk about today, our Yo Color System, which is our ammonia-free yogurt-based organic color. We have our Activa Coloro, which is 95% natural. It's a skincare-based color, but it can also lift through cosmetic color. We have our Lunex system, which is our lightening system, and we have solutions that offer 1 to 2 levels of lift all the way up to 9 levels of lift. And then we have our Activa Care. This is our scalp care and our hair care products that are made with green and clean formulations and that are up to 96% natural. So again, we do have something for everyone. So let's talk about the range. So here you'll see in Cramer, you have your red tubes, which is the permanent hair color. And then you have your gray tubes, which is our tone on tone demi-permanent color. And then your activators. So I want to talk to you about the technology behind Cramer Color System and why it's so important to know. So the basis of our permanent hair color is coconut oil. And the important thing about that is it not only adds shine and moisture, but it also provides exceptional consistency when mixing and applying. The component of coconut oil is also really important in our shield technology, and I'll tell you why in just a minute. So our Valiant complex, like we just spoke about, is the patented blend of those four different botanicals that provide nutrition and synergistic effects to both the hair and the scalp, adding strength as well. So what our shield technology is that this is the technology prevents premature oxidation so we can have deeper penetration of the color molecules. And the coconut oil is the carrier of those color molecules so that it can penetrate as far deep into that cortex as we can get. And continuing on with the technology, we use micropigments. So we use the highest quality of micropigments that allow for the lower amount of ammonia so it minimizes swelling. So again, why this is tied into the coconut oil and the shield technology is that the coconut oil helps carry these micropigments into the cortex and it slows down the oxidation so we don't oxidize and swell. The color molecules don't oxidize and swell before it's compacted with as much pigment as we can. So this provides a really rich and full bodied color. And then we also have 9 actually different series of full coverage color. So there's no need to choose between a warm or cool result while covering gray. We have something that spans across the whole entire range. And then it's really easy to use. It's true to swatch. It's typical mixing ratios. So this is really a traditional hair color that's seamless transition from something that you're using before to using Cramer color. So it's just a beautiful alternative. So let's talk about some of the features and benefits of the Cramer color system. So with our permanent hair color, we do have a lot of gray coverage series. We have our super lighteners and our ultra lighteners, which is our high lifts and our ultra high lifts. Then with our demi, we have a gray camo service. And these are things that we're going to dive into in more detail in a few more slides. We have your activators 6 and 16 for your demi and 10 through 40 for your permanent. We have very low ammonia content in our Cramer color, and then our tone on tone is PPD free. Both of these add incredible shine. With the high lifts, you can get up to 5 lifts on virgin hair. And then we use recyclable packaging, recycled aluminum tubes, and paper inserts in not only our boxes, but also our paper inserts. Okay, so let's move on to our mixing ratios and processing times. So with your Cramer levels 1 through 10, you can mix that 1 to 1 with your typical 10 through 40. Your super lighteners are going to be mixed 1 to 1.5 with 40 volume only. Excuse me. Your ultra lighteners are going to be mixed 1 to 2 with 40 volume only. And your tone on tone is going to be mixed 1 to 1.5, and that can be intermixed with either 6 or 16 volume. So the processing times for the developers are as follows. So your 10 volume is going to be 30 minutes. Your 20 volume is 35 minutes. Your 30 volume is 40 minutes. Your 40 volume is always 50 minutes. And then for your tone on tone, your 6 volume is going to vary anywhere between 5 to 25 minutes. And then your 16 volume, you want to leave on for the full 25 minutes in order to get the richest result, but also the lift and deposit that you're looking for. And then let's talk about the levels of lift that these activators are going to give you. So with your 6 volume, it's just going to be deposit only. Your 16 volume with the demi can give you up to 1 level of lift. Your 10 volume is just tone on tone. Your 20 volume can give you up to 2 levels of lift. Your 30 volume can give you up to 3 levels of lift, and your 40 volume can give you up to 4 levels of lift. I'm sorry, 4 to 5 levels of lift. And when we're talking about the levels of lift, we have to take into consideration what our canvas is. And so somebody with really fine hair might be able to get those two levels of lift, but when you have somebody with really coarse, thick hair, they might only be able to get that one level of lift. So we really have to make sure that we understand the canvas that we're putting on, and that's why we're saying up to so and so levels of lift. And then some considerations when you're choosing a developer, you always have to consider the natural level that you're starting at when you need to lift through color. So, for example, if we are going to go from a natural level 5 to a level 7, you have to include your starting level. So, you're going to go through your 5, through your 6, through your 7. So, that's actually 3 levels of lift, which would result in a 30 volume activator. So sometimes when I go into salons, I will ask the question, how many levels of lift does it take to get from a level 5 to a level 7? And what would your developer choice be? And a lot of people say 20 volume. And although that can be for other lines, our line and the way that we teach it is you have to consider your starting level as a level that you're lifting through. So again, you're lifting through your 5, you're lifting through your 6, you're lifting through your 7 to be able to clear out some of that color, to be able to deposit the full clean color that we want. Okay, so we're going to go into our swatch chart presentation. So this is going to be some of the colors that we have. So it's intermixed. And how you're going to tell what is you're going to see a red dash. That red dash is responsible for what we have in Cramer permanent color. And then the gray dash is what we have in tone on tone. So you can see we have a wide range of both permanent and demi-permanent. And then here on the bottom, you're going to see our super lighteners and our ultra lighteners are only going to be in our permanent. Our illuminators, which is a segment of our demi, which is our tone on tone, those are only in our tone on tone. And then we have our intensifiers and our correctors here on the bottom, and then also our pastels, which are in our tone on tone. So we have a wide range of colors that can complement permanent on the regrowth and then your demi-permanent on your mid shafts and ends. So let's break down the color, the numbering system and our color wheel. So it's really important to understand where your colors live on the color wheel so that you can predict what your outcome is going to be, but also to understand how to choose the color that best fits your formulation. And so I want to make sure that you guys understand what the numbers mean and what the color they represent. So when we look at this example here, this is going to be a 7.36. So the 7 is going to be responsible for the level. The level determines how light or dark a color is. After the decimal, the first number is going to be your dominant tone. Sometimes there's only one number, and that's just going to be the tone that's going to be responsible for this shade. If you have a second number after the decimal or the third number in this system, that's going to be your secondary tone. And so this is generally just about a third of the tonality of the total tonality. And that number is either going to intensify the dominant tone or help correct the dominant tone. So for this example, this is a 7.36, which is a gold mahogany, level 7 gold mahogany. This is a beautiful chocolatey, warm brown, which I actually love. I use a lot of my own hair. And so this is a beautiful example of how the mahogany is really just going to help complement the dominant tone. So it's going to be a nice, rich, warm tone. If we had something like the 7.2, our 7.2 would be our 7 beige. And then you can see our 7.21. So that 1 is really going to go in and help correct any of that unwanted tone. So it's a really cool color. So we're going to go through and I'm going to show you where on the color wheel everything lives. and what color it represents. So our point ones, you can see, live in our blue-green ash high section. Our 0.21 is our true blue. Our 0.2 is our yellow-green, which is considered our beige. Our 0.3 is our gold. Our 0.4 is our copper. Our 0.5 is our reds. Our 0.6 is our red violet, which we also call mahogany. Our 0.7 is our violet, and our 0.8 is our blue violet pearl. So when looking at the color wheel, you're going to see this brown ring on the outside. And this brown ring showcases all of the colors that are going to be responsible for your gray coverage. So you can see our 0.37s, our 0.0s, our 000s, our 36, our 41s, our 16s, our naturals, our Nordic naturals, our 008s, and where is our 000s? Oh, I already showed you our 000s. Awesome. So these are all the colors that are responsible for our gray coverage. And so that perfectly segues into gray coverage permanent formulations. So when we're talking about gray coverage, we want to understand this chart here. So this chart is going to give you 100% gray coverage by utilizing these alone. Each one of these has to be mixed with at least 20 volume to give you 100% gray coverage. So our naturals, which is anything from our levels 1 through 10, our Mediterranean naturals, which are our 0.0s, and our Nordic naturals, which are our 0.08s, those are going to give you 100% gray coverage without having to intermix with anything else. A rule of thumb when we're talking about gray coverage is if you're under 40% gray coverage or gray, then you don't have to formulate as if there's gray present because what you choose is going to be able to blend that gray enough. If you're looking for 100% gray coverage, then anything over that you really want to formulate for gray coverage options. And so these are what you're going to choose. So we also have options like our 000s and our Nordic supernaturals. So our supernaturals are our 000s. Our Nordic naturals are our 0.008. These are responsible for that stubborn white hair, that 100% gray that just won't cover. These are perfect. Your your supernaturals are going to be more of a warm neutral, and our Nordic naturals are going to give you more of a neutral cool result. Then we have our ash mahoganies, which is our 0.16, our gold mahoganies are 0.36, golden violets, which is our 0.37, and our copper ashes, which is our 0.41. So these are pre-blended colors that give you more of a modern finish. And so these, while these do offer 100% gray coverage, if you're looking for more of an opaque finish, you do want to maybe intermix these with some of our other shades as well, but these will give you 100% gray coverage on their own. Now, if your target shade is any one of these colors here, so anything other than the ones that I just showed you, you want to mix at least half of your formula with one of these. Okay? And so how you're going to choose that is you're going to go back to, we're going to go back to our color wheel. And we're going to find our target color is going to be in one of those shades here, okay? So let's, for example, choose our 844. So our 844 is a really rich copper, level 8 really rich copper. If we had to cover gray, a lot of people would just jump to the naturals down here because they know most naturals and most color lines will cover gray. But why would we choose something that's across the color wheel that would neutralize this if we want to stay a really rich copper? So this is why we have options that are all around the color wheel of gray coverage so that you can choose something that helps enhance and keep the richness of the tone that you desire. So how you're going to choose is you're going to find where your target shade is, and you're going to go into the brown color wheel and you're going to find the gray coverage color that's the closest, which is our 0.41s, and you're going to stay on level. So half of my formula is going to be 841 and the other half is going to be 844. And you're going to get an 844 result with 100% gray coverage. So here's the color wheel again. Again, if we were going to choose, let's say, a 824. If an 824 was something that we wanted, but we also had gray coverage, we can choose the 3 6s, which are gray coverage, which is going to complement this, give it 100% gray coverage, but also enrich this 844 so it's a true to swatch 844. So I hope that helps you understand how to choose the best gray coverage option for you. So now we're going to move on to our special series, which is our Cramer correctors and intensifiers. So we had shown you before our CI13 and our CI55. So the CI13 is an anti-red corrector. So this is going to correct any unwanted red or warm tones that you encounter. And so there's a chart here that's going to show you how much that you can use in your formulation. And so at a level 3, they're saying that you can use 6 centimeters. A centimeter is around the size of a mini chocolate chip. So if you can imagine a mini chocolate chip, you're going to be able to use up to 6 centimeters, so 6 mini chocolate chips inside your formula at a level 3. At a level 4, you can use 5 centimeters. At a level 5, you can use 4 centimeters, and so on. And so if once you get to our higher levels, it shows you you can only use 1 centimeter. Now, this chart is really a wonderful addition for us to understand how much we can use. But I have a really simple, easy way to remember this in case you don't have it on hand. So whatever level you are, you're going to add up to 9. So the secret number is 9. So at a level 3, what plus 3 equals 9? 6. So you can use 6 mini chocolate chips. At a level 4, you can use 5 chocolate chips because 5 plus 4 equals 9. And so on and so forth. So then when you get up to 9 and 10, you really only want to use a very, very small amount because it is really potent. And you want to make sure that when you're using these, it is not necessary to add any developer to your formulation. So you can create your formula, mix your color and your developer, and then after that, you can just add this on top with no need to account for the developer. However, if it exceeds the 10 centimeters, then you want to correct that or equal that with your developer choice. So the same thing goes for your CI55. So your CI55 actually can be added in any amount that you want into your formulation. However, you have to keep in mind that if it exceeds a quarter of your formula, then you do have to use the developer to equal out the mixing ratio of 1 to 1. If it's under the quarter, then you don't have to add developer to equal that. So to make this very simple, I'm going to give you an example. So we have 30 mLs of 655 plus 20 mLs of CI55. The 20 mLs of CI55 is more than a quarter of the formula. And so we're going to have to take the 30 mLs plus the 20 mLs, and we're going to do 50 mLs of the unioxy. However, if we had 30 mLs of the 655 plus only 10 mLs of the CI55, then we only need 30 mLs of the uni-oxy because it didn't exceed a quarter of our formula, so we don't have to add developer for that. Okay, so let's move on to our special series, which is our Cramer Super Lighteners. Our Super Lighteners are our 100, our 101, our 100, our 123. These three shades are perfect for lighten your natural regrowth up to 4 to 5 levels, and it's going to depend on your natural base. So the ideal application is going to be on a level 5, 6, or 7. Again, your mixing ratio is going to be 1 to 1.5 with 40 volume only. Your processing time is going to be a full 50 minutes. However, if you want to achieve maximum lightning with the highest degree of deposit, you can extend your processing time up to 60 minutes, and that will help extend that just slightly. So, for example, we have 50 mLs of Super Lightener 100, and then we're going to do 1 to 1.5, so it's 75 mLs of 40 volume, and that's going to be processed for 50 minutes. So we recommend only applying the super lightener and the ultra lighteners to your natural regrowth, and it should not exceed 1.5 centimeters to avoid demarcation line. So now we have our Cramer ultra lighteners. So again, these are our high lift series. These are going to give you that extra level of lift. And so these are ideal for creating that blonde from like a natural level 6 or getting that extra level of lift that you're needing. So again, your ultra lighteners are going to include your 1000, your 1008, and your 1011. So these three shades are again for intense lightening on natural regrowth up to 5 levels. The ideal application is level 5, 6, and 7. Your mixing ratio increases to 1 to 2 with 40 volume only. Again, your processing time is 50 minutes, but again, to achieve maximum lightening and the highest degree of deposit, you can extend it up to 60 minutes. So again, our example is 50 mLs of Ultra Lightener 1000 to 1 to 2, so it's going to be 100 mLs of 40 volume processed for 50 minutes. So the other great thing about these ultra lighteners is that it makes it possible to create highlights on either natural or color treated hair, regardless of the technique that is used. So this is going to be recommended in foils. Your ideal application bases can for natural hair is going to be on a 5, 6, 7, or 8. But your ideal application base for color treated hair is going to be on a 6, 7, or 8. Um, the results of this is going to vary depending on the saturation of the color on your mid shafts. And so we recommend putting these in foils and leaving them for at least 35 minutes up to 50 minutes to depend to give you the maximum level of lift and to create those beautiful streaks. So let's go ahead and formulate. So I want to show you this chart here. This chart is called our natural contributing pigment chart. So on the left here, you see your tone and your level. So it goes from your level 1 all the way up to your level 10, and it goes from black all the way to light blonde. You can see the color shifting from here, from your level 1 to your level 10. On the right side, you can see the underlying pigment that is exposed during the lifting process. This is really important to know when doing any sort of coloring or lightening. Understanding this chart is going to take the guesswork out of formulating and be able to have you be really confident in what the results are going to be. So understanding what level you're starting with will give you the idea of how many levels of lift that you need. And then understanding the underlying pigment or the natural contributing pigment at each level is going to give you the idea of what you're going to need to either enhance or correct those tones to give you the desired result. Okay, so how do we formulate? There are multiple factors that we need to know before we can even decide on what we're going to choose. So these include, what is my natural starting level? What is my target level? What is my target color? Is there any gray percentage in the hair? I'm sorry, is there any percentage of gray in the hair? Or what percentage of gray is in the hair? And then down here, your natural contributing pigment. What is the natural contributing pigment at your target level? That is really important to know because that's going to give you what you need to do, what you need to choose as a tone to be able to enhance or correct at the result to give you the best result. So from all this information, you're going to be able to choose what color your color choices are or what your options are, and then what is your activator choice. So let's do some examples. So we had this example earlier on, and I want you to be able to see this visually because this might make a little more sense. So when you have a natural level 5, your target level is a 7. Your target shade is neutral cool. There's no gray present. We know that the natural contributing pigment at a level 7 is orange. Okay? So if we want a neutral cool, we're going to need to look at the color wheel and go directly across the color wheel in order to neutralize that. So, excuse me, our perfect choice is going to be a 7-2-1. And because we're going through the 5, through the 6, through the 7, that's 3 levels, we're going to choose our 30 volume, mixed 1-to-1, and you're going to get a neutral cool level 7. So let's take the same formulation, but let's add gray in there so we can figure out how we're going to formulate as if they're for gray coverage. So again, we're a natural level 5. We want to go to a level 7. We want to be neutral cool, but there's 50% gray. We know that the natural contributing pigment at a level 7 is orange. So we can't just go in and use this formula that we had over here because our 7.21 is not gray coverage. So we're going to need to choose a gray coverage option. So there's a couple different things that we can do here. And this is why I love this system because you can be as creative as you want to be. There's not one size fits all. So one of our gray coverage options that is cool is our 0.08. So we could use our 708 mix 1-to-1 with 30 volume and get 100% gray coverage and lifted to a level 7 and have it be neutral cool. Or we can take our formulation from over here. So we can take our 721, but we're going to do half and half with level 7. 7 is also very cool, and it is also a gray coverage color. So we can mix our 7 with our 721 in equal parts with our 30 volume and get 100% gray coverage at a level 7 and be neutral cool. So let's do a couple more formulations. So I want to talk about covering for resistant white hair. So we had talked about how we have our Mediterranean naturals, which are our 000s, and our Nordic Mediterranean naturals, which are our 008. So this is where this comes into play. So we have somebody who's 100% white. They want to be a level 7. They want to be a warm level 7. And they have 100% resistant white hair. There's no natural contributing pigment that we are going to expose. So that is, we don't have to think about that. So we want to choose our 000s. So our Mediterraneans, we want to do our 7000, our 000s with 30 volumes. So they have to be mixed with 30 volume only. So all of the other gray coverage colors that we had talked about, they are going to be mixed with 20 volume or more to give you 100% gray coverage. But our 000s and our 008, they need to be mixed with 30 volume. So we're going to be mixing our 7000 with 30 volume in order to counteract for that resistancy. So we need a little bit more power to go in, open that cuticle, be able to take out some of, make some space to really deposit a full, rich, vibrant color and to help combat that resistancy. And so that's why we're using our 30 volume with our 000s. We also have an other option. So our other option is called our Cayman rule of 30. And so let's take a very similar formulation. So we have somebody who's 100% white, they want to be a level 7, but they want to be a neutral level 7. And they have 100% resistant white hair. So we could also drop a level and use 30 volume. Instead of having to use extra pigment and color here, we can just drop a level and use 30 volume. So if we want to be a level 7, what they're saying is because you're 100% white, you can drop down to a level 6, which is going to give you a little bit more pigment, but by using 30 volume, you're also going to be able to really help drive that color into the hair a little bit more. But because of the 30 volume, it's also going to dilute that 6 to really finish at a level 7. So you're going to get a nice neutral cool level 7. So if you're not where you want to be with regular 20 volume, then you can always use the Cayman rule of 30, drop it down a level, and use 30 volume as well. So let's talk about some more formulations. So we have somebody who's a natural level 7. They want to be a level 8, but they want to be an 8 copper. They do have 50% gray. We know at a level 8, the natural contributing pigment is a yellow orange. So in this formulation, again, we have multiple options here. So we could use an 844, which would be our target shade, and then mix that 1-to-1 with an 841. And again, this was our sample formula early on where we said we're going to find the gray coverage color that's closest to this on the color wheel, and that was our 841. So we're going to do 844 plus 841 with just 20 volume because that's all we need. We're only going from a 7 to an 8, 20 volume, and also coloring gray. You need at least 20 volume to do that. Or we can choose our gray coverage color, which is our 8.0, which is a warm gray coverage, plus our 8.43 and 20 volume. So both of those are going to give you a level 8 copper that has 100% coverage on 50% gray hair. So now let's look at our formulations for our super lighteners. These are actually our ultra lighteners. So if we have somebody who's a natural level 6 and they want to be a level 10, a neutral cool level 10, there's no gray present. We know that at a level 10, our natural contributing pigment is pale yellow. So we need to find something that's going to counteract that. So we have the option of using either our 1008 or our 1011 with 40 volume, mixed 1-to-2, left on for 50 minutes, and you're going to get a beautiful, cool result. So now let's move on to tone-on-tone formulations. Let's talk about some of the services that you can get with tone-on-tone. So we can do really safe toning. So when we tone, we're gonna use our 6 volume on pre-lightened hair, or we can use any shade with 6 volume and just add a nice soft tone to it. We can also get 30 to 70% gray blending, and that's going to depend on the developer choice that you choose. So your 6 volume can give you up to 30% gray blending if left on for 20 minutes. And your 70 volume intermixed with any shade, and your 16 volume mixed with any shade left on for 25 minutes can give you up to 70% gray blending. We also have a special series of men blending that is just our G series. And then you can do you can use your 6 volume or your 16 volume. We have our illuminators, which are a neutral pH. There's no level associated with it, so it will not change the level. But this adds extreme shine, long lasting results, and really restores that pH back to neutral. This is going to be with your 6 volume only, and left on from 5 to 25 minutes. And then we have our pastels, which are perfect for creating any fashion effect that we want on pre-lightened hair, base level 10, mixed 6 volume for 20 minutes. So now let's dive into each one of these services and how to perform it. So our gray blending options, again, we said we have our 6 volume and our 16 volume. And so we have our 6 volume is going to give you 30% gray blending or gray masking. And when used with our 16 volume, any one of your shades is going to give you up to 70% gray blending. Our illuminators are our tones we said that have no level associated with it. That's only going to be mixed with your 6 volume. So let's talk about our gray series. This is our G series. So this is ideal for clients who have salt and pepper hair. So especially suited for anybody who wants to add the pepper back to their salt. So the mixing ratio for this is 1 to 1.5. You can use either 6 or 16 volume, and this is only going to be processed for 5 minutes. So this you're going to process visually. So when using 6 volume, it's just going to give you very subtle results and no regrowth touch-up commitment. When used with 16 volume, you're going to get immediate visible results with up to 70% gray blending. This is just for the regrowth area. If you feel like you need to refresh the ends, you can process uh, the regrowth that you applied for about 3 minutes. And then if you need, you can pull it through the ends for no more than 2 minutes. So our special series illuminators. So these are the colors that are associated with no level. And so these are really great for toning color treated hair, mid shafts and ends for extreme brilliance and long lasting results. These illuminators have an essentially neutral pH, so it can be used all alone or in combination with any other color that's applied. Mixing the illuminators with any other shade will produce a really delicate formula, especially suited to perfect color results on porous hair. So we have our 0.0, which is just our clear, our 0.18, which is responsible for an ash tone, our zero point 0.3, which is a gold intensifier, a 0.34, which is our golden copper intensifier, and our 0.36, which is a beautiful, rich chocolate. So again, these can be used on their own with 6 volume, mixed 1 to 1.5. Um, if mixed on their own, it can be added into any increments, intermixed with any other color. But these are going to be left on from 5 to 20 minutes. So your clear, your 0.0 is just going to add shine on its own. Your 0.18 is going to, on its own, help correct any unwanted tones or help correct any unwanted tones when intermixed with anything else. And then your 0.3, your 3.4, and your 3.6 are going to help intensify those tones when left on used by itself or intermixed with any other tone. So let's talk about our pastels. So our pastels are these 4 shades, and these are perfect for creating any fashion effects on pre-bleached hair. So we have our peach, which is our 10.427. This is, again, ideal on a level 10 with golden undertones, and that's what's going to give you this perfect peachy tone. And then we have our rose gold, which is our 10.428. So this is ideal on, again, golden tones. This is going to give you a really nice gold, rose gold. But to emphasize the rose hues, you want to apply this on a level 10 that has been pre-toned to remove some of that golden tone. So we don't want to have any golden tones if you want more of the rose effect to be accentuated. Then we have our champagne, which we do want to have on a level 10 that has been pre-toned. That's going to give you that perfect champagne color. But if you want a little more results, then you can apply it right on top of those golden undertones. And then we have our wisteria, which is our 10.007. This, you definitely need to pre-tone and remove any of those unwanted tones. On a level 10, it's going to give you this perfect lilac wisteria color. So how to mix these, you're going to mix these 1 to 1.5 with 6 volume and let it process for the full 20 minutes in order to get the full deposit on these beautiful pastels. So let's talk about some sample formulas of tone on tone and how we can get some gray blending in here. So we have our natural level 4. We want to stay a level 4. We want to be a nice warm brown, and we just want to blend out the 30% gray that we see currently. We know that our natural contributing pigment at a level 4 is red, so that's actually going to work into our favor, so we don't have to choose anything to correct that. So we can choose our 4.36, which is a perfect warm brown, our 4.36 with 6 volume, because we said our 6 volume, when left on for the full 25 minutes, is going to be able to blend up to 30% gray. Now, we have a natural level 6. They want to stay on level 6, but they want to be neutral cool, and they do have 75% gray. At a level 6, we know that our natural contributing pigment is a red-orange. So we need to find something that's going to help counteract that red-orange if we want to be neutral cool. So our formula can be a 6, which is neutral. Also, our 6.8, which is also cool. 10 grams of 6, 20 grams of 6.8, and then we're going to choose our 16 volume because we said our 16 volume mixed with anything is going to give you up to 70% gray blending. So you're going to be able to blend up to 70% of that gray with this formula. So now, if we want to use our G series, so this is a formulation to use our gray blending series, which we called our G series. So we have somebody who's a natural level 4 salt and pepper. They just want to add more pepper back to their color. And anybody who's salt and pepper, they are ashy, so they want to stay ashy. They're 75% gray. And so we're going to stay on level. We're going to choose a level 4. And then we're going to mix that with 16 volume mixed 1 to 1.5. And we're going to let that process for 5 minutes. And you're going to get that perfect blend, adding more pepper back to their salt. So now let's talk about using our illuminators. So we have our client who's been pre-lightened to a level 10. She wants to stay a level 10, but she just wants pearly beige highlights. We don't want any gray blending because there's no gray there. We just want to accentuate those beautiful highlights that we've just created. We know at a level 10, her natural contributing pigment is a pale yellow. So in order to get some pearly beige, our beige tone that we're going to choose is our 10.2. And then we're going to add our illuminator of the 0.18. That's going to give us our pearl effect. So it's just going to ash it out just ever so slightly. And we're going to use that because we're using our illuminators. We're toning. We're only going to use our 6 volume. Again, mixed 1 to 1.5. Left on for the full 20 minutes is going to give you the full deposit, but you can leave that on anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes until you hit your desired result. So let's talk about, that was it, guys. So let's talk about why we love the Cramer Color System. And we're going to recap everything we kind of talked about. So we talked about that. It's really easy to use. It's a one-on-one mixing ratio. There's over 100 colors. There's over 50 plus permanent colors and 6 developers. We have exceptional coverage. We have over nine, I think it's 10 direct coverage series spanning both warm and cool tones. We have our organic Velian complex plus the basic coconut oil. It provides exceptional shine, protection, and comfort to the scalp. We have our innovative shield technology. Again, this prevents premature oxidation to allow the full deposit of those micropigments to get a really rich and full bodied color. We also have reduced ammonia. So this is calibrated with very, very low ammonia content, which means it's less irritating and the odor is absolutely less than regular traditional colors. And then we have a bunch of unique demi services. Not only do we have the gray blending, we have the illuminators, we have the pastel blondes, and then we also have ammonia free toning. So I hope that you guys love the Cramer Color System just as much as I do. And I hope this information was really helpful for you. So let's quickly talk about the education pathway. So in 2025 and beyond, I'm bringing you in salon care. So not only scalp health, hair health, we also have cutting and styling classes that we can bring to your salon. And then we also do color classes. You can become a color master with any of our 6 plus hands-on color classes that we're going to offer in salon. And then we have our creativity, which is our academy style classes, which really bring our really intricate techniques, our latest fashion trends, everything to get you really inspired and moving on to be more successful. I can't wait to share that with you guys. We do have some tour dates that are going on, so please be on the lookout for those. So if you are interested in our color, how we kind of go through what the pathway that we take you through is you're going to schedule a demo. That's when somebody comes in and showcases how the color works and how the coverage works. Then, if you decide to bring it in, we're going to set up what's called an install. That's when an educator comes out, gives you a little bit of theory in the morning on how to utilize this color, how to use it, and then they stay with you throughout the day to help you transition your clients from their old color line to the new formula. If you need, we do offer a follow up for any troubleshooting that you might encounter. And then we have some expert and master classes. These can vary in color and cutting and styling, blonding. These are classes that fit every stylist's needs. So let's talk about who you're going to contact. So it's myself and Kate Bowser, who are the directors. Kate and I have been working together for quite some time. She has been part of Kemon for a really long time. And then she does all the things other than education. I am just the director for the education portion, and I've been working with Kemon for about 10 years now. If you need to contact us, you can either email Kate at Kate B at Solve Beauty Brands for any questions that may arise or for booking any of the demos or installs that you're looking for. Um, or if you have any questions or comments regarding education, you're going to email me at Bianca B at Solve Beauty Brands com. You can also follow me on social media. My education page is Bianca Andrea Education. I also have a stylist page, which is Stylist Bianca Andrea, where I just showcase the work that I do behind the chair. We also have different platforms that we're on, which I want to show you. So we do have our Facebook group, which is Kemon USA /# Kemon Culture. This is a group that anybody is welcome to. If you're looking for any learning materials, we have that on there for you. This is a great way to ask questions, show your work, just stay in the loop and stay connected to everybody else who's a Kemon user. Maybe get some ideas of some things that you don't use, and if you get interested, and you can always reach out. We have our Cayman website, which is caymanus.com. You can set up a free account and you can go on there and go inside the hub and you can have full access to all of what's called the easy guides, which is again the resources that tell you how to use the color or anything that we really went over today. They also have that in what's called our easy guides. Again, you can find those as well on the Facebook page. And then where you're going to find more educational videos like this one is on our YouTube. Cayman USA, hashtag Cayman Culture. We are also going to apply these to multiple other platforms, but on YouTube, you're going to be able to find this video and others. So thank you so much for being a part of this today. Again, don't forget to follow Cayman USA on Instagram and Cayman Official, which is our official Instagram for our company based out of Italy. Thank you. I hope this information was really helpful, and I hope to see you in one of my classes soon. Thanks so much, guys.